Hey guys, how is everybody today? We're just getting set up here. Had to wait a little bit for the weather. We had a whole blanket of snow. Give a few minutes here for everybody to tune in. I hope everybody's staying home and safe and taking that virus seriously. I know I sure am. I'm severely disabled and I've got asthma, COPD, and diabetes, just about everything on that list. So I'm trying to stick around a while, guys. We just got that book wrote. The first chapter of that book is the first ever child canine safety instruction manual ever written. Right now today there's an average of 2,400 dog bites in the United States alone every day. And I invented this system 29, 30 years ago to keep my own children safe. So it just uses real body language, so that way the dog understands, and it allows us to discipline way more thoroughly and way more effectively, to where our words have weight. When our words have weight and the dog does what we say, even in adrenaline mode, we have a different dog. It's way more pleasurable and way safer. But yeah, we want to get this. We want to empower every dog owner so that way they know they don't have to worry about their children getting bit. I'm against aggression more than anything else. That's why I wrote the book. I do not breed or have anything to do with genetic aggression. But if it's a learned behavior, it's easily corrected. And many dogs get put down because people don't know. So for years I've been teaching people how to save good deserving dogs and how to let them understand if it is a dog worth saving. But one of the funnest things I do is puppy starting. Oh guys, and always know this, 90% of the dog bites aren't by mean dogs. They are literally caused by the pets in our home that we think is safe, but they're caused because they get startled over their dog food. So I developed a way of feeding dogs while they eat, so this way they're in a feeding trigger. Okay, dogs have feeding triggers. Dogs form social relationships by aggression over food, depending on environmental conditions. This means the only reason they care to talk is if food's involved. The highlier wanted food, the more they listen, the more they remember, just like every predator has to remember what pays his belly. That's how they survive. So I use reverse hunger training, so that way I get the dog's attention and I get these results fast. I get months worth of results in minutes compared to other people. Now, saying that, we know some dogs act shy, some dogs act aggressive. We want neither of the two, okay? But we have to know that shyness and aggression is the same language. They're just opposite ends of the same spectrum, okay? All dogs, not just ones acting shy or acting aggressive, all dogs use body language, not just a growl or not just a look away or cower. They use shy or aggressive body behaviors and body language to talk to other dogs while they're eating. Many dogs are not aggressive at all unless they're on a tree. This is because of the desired food. All dogs, all our hunting dogs, hunt and use feeding instincts to hunt for us. The only reason they would hunt in the wild is to feed themselves. So everything dogs do is around food, by food, and we can look way more into dogs if we're feeding a high quality pay treat, something that induces adrenaline. Now with this information, we can do a whole world of progress on dogs really quick, okay? Now, know that coon hunting is one of the most extreme canine sports, if not the most extreme in the world, because these dogs are under adrenaline mode the whole time we cut them. Adrenaline mode is the difference between a seasoned hound and an unseasoned hound. A seasoned hound can think in adrenaline mode. He's thinking rather than just barking up the tree where the scent went up. This is accuracy. Everything I do is about adrenaline control, so I can get a seasoned hound at a very young age. A seasoned hound trees more coon. A hound that controls his own adrenaline trees more coon. They are one and the same. It is accuracy. Okay? So everything I do just begets a better dog, and it's a faster way to give it experience. It's all about adrenaline control and that dog performance under distractions. Now, that being said, we're going to get into that pay trait today that induces adrenaline for puppy starting. Okay? Now, I've told a lot of people about this over the years, but I've never really showed anybody how. But I observe many different rules when it comes to puppy starting, and I'm going to go over these today because it's probably the most important thing I do. There's no sense to put money into a puppy and not know if it's going to make out. Not know these things. So I do things differently. They call me Wild Willie because I use wild, predatory instinct training. But I use my body to my body language that dogs would use to communicate with dogs. Okay? So they understand way faster. And then I'm always working with a want to please. So everything I do starts out with the dog just wanting to do it himself, and substituting things that wolves go through in the wild. Every wolf, every coyote, every fox, every canine predator has to feed itself by the time it's 6 to 7 months old. It has to start feeding itself. Mommy can't provide for it. Okay? This means our domesticated dogs are missing out on a whole world of experience because they're in a kennel during that time. Now, young puppy starting is a trend, but at the same time we have to be very careful because we don't want to ruin the puppy. I understand these things and how they work hormonally in the brains of the dog, so I understand how to do these things and not cause problems. Now, I myself want my puppies treeing young, very young. Experience doesn't have to come with time. It comes with experience, exposure, okay? So, I'm going to let you guys in on a few secrets that I do. One, if we're going to start our puppies young, we have to have a fail-safe because we don't want them burning up. So that's the first thing I'm going to explain. The actual mechanisms of what we do to burn a puppy up, okay? If we start them young and they look really good, they get really impressive, we want to show off with our friends. We want to keep taking that dog because he's progressing. But with young puppies, we have to see inactivity as training too, not hunting the dog. It takes hormones, it takes a hound, all dogs, hormones to process the hormones they're tracking and treeing, okay? So it's a complete hormonal game in their mind. Now, if a young dog makes too many trees as he develops young in life, simply his adrenaline gland is developing to flow too much adrenaline. So if this happens too often, you get a slick treeing idiot. Or a dog who doesn't want it, okay? Because he's just been treeing too much. That burns pups up. Now, with that knowledge, we just got to make sure we don't do it. It's that easy. So I start my pups young. I like them to be treeing by the time they're 5, 6 months old. Their own coon by themselves, okay? Absolutely possible. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to observe another rule. I'm not going to burn them up. Even if they look better than my Grand Night champion, I'm not going to hunt them every night of the week. I'm going to hunt them a couple nights. But I'm going to tailor that to that individual dog. We'll go out hunting. He does good, great. If he does mediocre, I have plenty of time now to work with this pup. It doesn't have to be pounded in the woods. And I'm just going to give him inactivity. I'm going to let him grow, develop in the yard too. and hunt him more on occasion or when he's really wound up wanting to go. Now that inactivity simply gets depth. So now we're protecting the adrenaline gland. We're not going to burn the puppy up. He's already got experience. He can already treat his coon at 6, 7 months old. And we're never going to have a problem with it. So since we can do that way, and I can keep puppies safe by starting them young, I can teach how I start young puppies. Let me introduce you to Vortex. Vortex was a gift from Jeff Tomley's double Ike Myers bred. I trained his father, sit down, lay down, up, sit, stand up, come, stay. Let's do that again. Sit down, lay down, up, sit, come, stay. Heel, right side, left side, ahead, behind. When I was done, it was at 15 minutes and I didn't have to talk. I literally moved my hand and boy did what I told him to do. This blew my mind. I've never trained a dog that fast in my life. And the crazy thing is we worked with Jeff's other dogs, French bulldogs, and some aggression issues and obedience training, all sorts of stuff. But we did that for a whole week. I never messed with Boy for a whole week. On the 8th day, I got him out and we recorded it. Boy remembered every single thing I did. I had to give him one refresher, which was just a light tug for right side. He remembered the hand signals. He remembered all this. This is not supposed to be possible. I didn't even believe it myself. We should have to take dogs, all dogs, through repetition after repetition after repetition to get that kind of consistency. Not coon hounds. Coon hounds, my buddies, my friends, people still to this day think they can't be obedience trained. The crazy thing is they train in a fraction of the time as all other dogs. They have more want to please. They're more intelligent. The bullheadedness that they have is mental memory. They know how to not do what you want to do. So everything I do with a coon hound is want marrying it first. Literally just reverse psychology or reverse hunger to get that dog to want to do it hardcore himself before I ever discipline. Because if we're just disciplining a pup to do what we want, we're never going to get perfection. We cannot discipline any living thing into performing at its best. If we want perfection, it has to want it as bad as we want it to. Vortex. No, that's not good. Now, this is exactly how I trained Vortex's father in such a short time. I used a lean meat treat that he absolutely had to have, so I had his attention all the time. This is mental memory. Now, when we get into these things, and they're so easy to train, I just feel a responsibility to tell everybody. But I don't expect everybody to do what I do, okay? But if a man wants to, I want him to be able to get the results that I get. I know this is new and it's different. I blend my own self-taught form of obedience training with the art of hunting. And I've done this my whole life. I've always hunted dogs, and I've always had house pets. I just didn't know that our coon hounds are 10 times better house pet, and all breeds of them, than all the other dogs. So house pets are coon hounds at my house. They're a better alarm system. They got better nose. They tell you when the kid's home 1.5 miles, 2 miles before the bus is ever coming around the corner. They are like Spider-Men. We have bred them better. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into some scent wiring 101. This is absolutely pre-off game breaking, want marrying, and it is exactly what wolves do. Okay? Now, I've been teaching this for a long time. It's really a coveted secret. Now, excuse me. Our puppies miss out on a world of information. When babies are born, their mind is way more active than will ever be in their life. Our children can recognize 800 sounds the day they're born. But as we become adults, we can only recognize and differentiate between 40. Okay? This is because we start to learn to focus on these things. So we're putting neural patterns to stuff. So what we don't need, we lose. And puppies, everybody knows, they age on average 7 years for each one. So if we're not doing anything in that first 6 months, well, we're not doing anything in that dog's first 3.5 years of life and his knowledge and experience. I hope that makes sense, because it's crucial. The less we do with our pups, the less we get out of them, okay? So what I do is what wolves do. A wolf, when she's hungry, she leaves her pups and she goes and she catches game. Now them puppies are starving, they're hungry. They nurse every half an hour, every hour. By the time she leaves, they're probably nursing every 2 hours or so, okay? Now they're very hungry. When she gets back, she drags her kill into the den. When she drags that kill into the den, she starts eating the puppy's nurse. This is neural expressioning. She's literally teaching the puppies what game she wants, because she's going to hunt the most easiest, most ample game in the woods. She doesn't feel good. She just had a litter. So the easiest game for her to catch is what she's going to bring back. That's the most ample game for her pups to learn to hunt to survive. That's how it works. As she's eating it and those puppies are hunting, they are wiring the want for that scent of that game to the want of food, which is hunting. This is crucial, and almost none of our pups go out. But why can't our puppies go through it? Well, they can. A scent wire. So what I do is I find a lean meat treat that my puppy goes crazy for and he has to have. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up with his regular dog food. So that way I have something in there that induces that adrenaline want. And then I'm going to add coon scent. Now, I like to use wild local coon scent if I can, and I just have me a live trap coon, and I'll literally turn the cage over and pour a little water on it. So that way it goes through on a rag, and I'll use that rag and I'll wipe it on there. Now, if not, I'll use a high quality bottled scent. Today I'll be using some Tux. I've seen a Gray Night Champion tree on a stop sign with it. That's why I use it. And I only tell people what I use and what works for me, period. All the information I give here is 100% free, and that's it. Okay, guys, today what we're going to do is we're going to try some ballpark franks and some smoked sausage. Now, I don't have to do this forever. I'm just going to do it while he's a little puppy. So that way I get that want for coon before he ever starts. See, the biggest problem with starting puppies is most people want to show them a cage coon. Then it doesn't want to bark at it because it's scared. It's never been to that spot before. So we kick the cage to it. Now this scares the puppy. He starts barking at it. We're happy. Oh yeah, our puppy's going to be good. Well, guess what? His first reaction was he was scared to death of it. So now you go cut him. As soon as he smells it, he goes the other way and sits down. So this usually takes 3 to 4 months to start a puppy. It takes me a month to get mine to tree their own because I take more patience. I don't scare them of it at first. I set wire in place of sight. They don't need to see it to tree it, guys. But I do use cage coon too. But I have a specific controlled balance of it that works for every individual dog. So what I do is I'm more patient. I set wire. I get the dog tracking first before I show him a coon. I get him 3-4 field trips in the daytime. It's that easy. Now my pup, as soon as he smells that track for the first time in the woods, he's going to track it because he was never scared of it. His first impression was what I'm getting ready to do right now. Let me grab this bowl, guys, and I'll pan you over here to Vortex a little bit. Vortex. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find a pay treat that he, try to close this, guys, bear with me, okay, that he loves. So I'm going to try a ballpark frank and a little bit of smoked sausage, always fully cooked. I'm just going to let him pick. Let him smell this one now. Oh, no, let him pick. Oh, see how he's pawing it? He likes a ballpark. Now, the more lean meat treats that we feed our dog, okay, the quicker we activate its mind to learn. This is how they learn in the wild. When they taste new food, it forces brain activity. When we force brain activity, we rejuvenate an old dog to learn anew, or a young dog to learn faster. And I'm not going to feed lean meat treats all the time. I'm just going to do it when I need. If it's good training, the treats go away and it becomes a dog. And that's what I do. I don't never feed my dogs treats in the woods. Their treat is the coon. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Let me pan you back here. I am going to take some high quality puppy food. Oh boy, they need to grow. They need all that development. The better they grow when they're young, the longer they're going to live and hunt. It equates to cartilage, bone density. Now look at him. Let's get him wound up a little bit. Let's shake this bowl. Put a little food in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some small pay treats, which is ballparks for him. Good boy. Well, I want him to talk to it. I'm going to teach him to speak command before he ever trees. This way, I don't have to wait 3 years for a seasoned dog. I'll be competition hunting him at 11 months old, and I won't have to have a leash. Okay. Talk to it. Talk to it. Talk to it. Talk to it. And that's the exact command that I'm going to use when I want him to open up on that tree harder. Talk to it. And I'm teaching him it right now. Now we got our pay treats linked in. All we got to do is add our scent, and our training is over. This take about everything I do takes minutes. We got our scent in there. Safe, sanitary, fully cooked. Now we let him eat it. It's that simple. If we're going to use a pay treat, okay, our coon scent, we have to use a pay treat. That pay treat induces that want for that food, that want for the scent. This draws out coon dogs. Good boy. Coon got it. Now while he's eating that, smelling that coon scent, I'm going to start setting up a little words. I just do this maybe 3 times, and then the next week maybe 3 times. It just depends. You'll notice the difference because when you lay down the treats, he'll only focus on the scent instead of eating the treats in